Hi, students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great start to their week. I hope you're staying healthy, strong, and productive. Welcome, Gracie, Jagit, Rani Komal, Yova, Danny Nguyen. Good to see many students in this class. While we wait for some more of your peers, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTS help com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of goodies for you to help improve your IELTS band scores through good communication and English. In this class, we are going to be looking at some IELTS speaking part 1 questions, and we are going to be discussing how to begin with a band 9 start point. Welcome, Jai Neil. Good to see our members joining in as well. And students, we will be releasing my IELTS Band 9 Journey episode 4 on this Sunday. So I sat the official IELTS exam. We made a small series with this: test registration, preparation, test day, and then my results and feedback. So my results and feedback episode 4 is coming up this Sunday. Okay, everyone, so this is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. You can practice your speaking for free on this website. All you need to do is create a student account and then log into your My Student account. In your My Student account, you will find computer-based practice exams, a full online academic course, IELTS exams, workbooks, study plans, lesson videos, and then off to the right, well, on the computer anyway, on your phone it'll look a little different. You'll find the student partner speaking, so you can click on that button, and then you can usually find somebody in here that will be ready to audio or video chat with you. So keep this window open. And you can do the same on general IELTS as long as you create a user account. You can get the premium package, the full course, by clicking this big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents, so you're in good hands with us. Jai Neil, you've already seen episode 4 on our premium course because that's where we release it first. That's awesome. I hope you like it. Okay. Divya, Wonder Genie, Rajdeep, good to see more members joining in on this class as well. All right, everyone. Of course, we have apps for you to help you learn IELTS, academic IELTS help for academic IELTS students, general IELTS help for general students. Those apps will link to our websites so that you can learn from the website or the app. It's integrated, and you can follow us on Instagram. If you have questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will get back to you. Okay, we've got a full week of classes today. So we've got speaking part 1 right now. And then we have more classes for you tomorrow on Friday and Saturday. We've got task 2 writing, we've got listening for everybody. So lots and lots to do and to practice. Okay, all right. Nix is asking a question. It's a common question in our chat. Nix is asking, what's the difference between British Council and IDP Australia? The answer to that, Nix, is really nothing. British Council and IDP host the exact same IELTS exams. They're just 2 different branches of the same company, basically, when it comes to IELTS. So keep that in mind. All right. Okay, so IELTS speaking part 1. All right. Well, make sure to speak and repeat in this class. So don't just type, but also talk. Okay, I'd love to visualize that you are talking the same as I am and that you're repeating what I say. All right. So when you think about it, in the IELTS speaking, part one is, well, the easier part of the speaking test for sure. And basically, everybody who sits the IELTS exam will start with a band 9 in the speaking, okay? So the examiner doesn't know your skill level when you start. So, you know, according to the examiner, you're basically a perfect student when you sit down and you look at them first before you've said any words. So basically what you have to keep in mind, and this is kind of an interesting way to think about it, every candidate is a band 9 when they start their speaking interview, because the examiner has not heard any mistakes. Okay, so your goal is to keep your mark as high as possible. There are some important steps to do this. Okay, so step one, show confidence and fluency from the very beginning. This means speak in full and clear sentences. Okay, so in the IELTS speaking interview, you register 20 minutes before your interview. Of course, you're using English all day long on the day of your speaking test. And you are arriving to the exam at least about 45 minutes to an hour early so that you can practice with someone else. And then eventually you get into your speaking interview and you will be met by an examiner like me, and they will say, "Welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test." The test has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each part. I'm recording this for marking clerical purposes. The candidate number is 79531. Currently, we are conducting this exam in Los Angeles at 16 o'clock. Now we shall begin. And then they will ask you a question. So they have a few questions to start off with. The first question is always to see your identification, because they have to make sure that you are who you say you are. So they're going to say, "May I see your identification?" And now, again, to have a band 9 start, you have to show fluency right away. Technically, they're not marking you on these starter questions, but in reality, they are. Okay, so as soon as you start speaking English, they are starting to assess your ability to communicate using the English language. So you have to be fluent and confident right away, okay? So give me a nice full sentence answer to this question. May I see your identification? Imagine you're sitting there, you know you paid a good chunk of money to be there, you want to get a great score. You know the examiner is there to do a job, you're there to do your job. You've got your passport, and you give an answer. Fahim Redwan says, "Yeah, sure, please give me a minute. Here's my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look," okay? And push confidence into this very first answer, okay? So get past that barrier of being shy. Okay. Daniel, I'm not sure about your question. Can you please state it a little bit differently? Okay. Lei Quang here says, certainly, here's my national identity card, which I used for registration. Please have a look. Not which I use, because you've already done it, Lei Quang. So make sure to use the past tense. That's the kind of small mistake that unfortunately already kind of costs you a bit. It's very difficult to get a band 9 if you're making verb tense mistakes early on. So be careful. Jasur says, sure, give me a second. Here is my passport that I used for registration. Please have a look. Yeah, sure is quite colloquial. So I recommend that for these introductory questions, use a level of politeness and professionalism in your speech. So set the tone for a professional interview, not a friendly interview, okay? And that's a really important tip. That's going to give you a much better chance to get a higher band score, okay? So this is an important tip here. Set the tone for a professional interview, not a friendly one. This will give you a better chance for a higher score. Okay, so what I mean by that is instead of saying sure, okay, sure sets a friendly tone. I would recommend setting a professional tone. So a professional tone would be something like, yes, of course. Here is my passport. Which I used to register for this exam 2 weeks ago. Please take a look. Okay. So this would set the tone for a professional interview, and the examiner is going to appreciate that. Okay, they're going to know that you're serious about this, you're going to do a good job, you're going to use professional language. And professional language is better than non-professional language in communication. So when we're looking at those high band scores, like band 7, good, band 8, very good, band 9, expert, then it's more the professional language that approximates that very good and expert level of communication. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Nice fluency. Okay. All right. Then the next question is, what is your full name? So give me a nice full sentence for this one. What is your full name? Again, professional, right? So you're not talking to your buddy. You're talking to an examiner, a teacher, an interviewer. So speak professionally. All right. Bakrat says, of course, sir, here's my passport. Let me show you my credentials. I registered myself for this exam a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look. Okay, Bakrat, watch your grammar. Arda says, my given name is Arda and my surname is Gorbuz. Please just call me Arda. Very nice, Arda. And then carry a nice professional tone into that when you're saying it. Okay. Incredible Me says, sir, I'm fluent in speaking, but when I speak with a local language accent. Is that a problem? No, speaking with an accent is not a problem as long as the examiner can clearly understand the words that you are saying. Okay? Accents are not a big deal. All right. Ishanka says, my full name is Ishanka Milani Jasing. Please just call me Ishanka. Okay, that works, yeah. Mr. Mehi says, what happens if I'm not able to think of the answer about the given question? Then, Mr. Mehi, you have to either ask for the question to be repeated, and if you don't understand it, ask for the next question. Don't just talk about anything and go off topic. That's the worst. If the examiner sees that you're stuck and you're stuttering and you're not saying anything, they will just ask you the next question. That's what they're trained to do. All right. Divya says, my given name is Divya, and my family name is Mavilla. I would feel comfortable being addressed as Divya. With my family name, we don't really say that, Divya. Okay, I saw that you're trying something new there, but we don't say it that way. Rajveer Singh says, my first name is Rajveer and the last name is Singh. You can call me Rajveer. Okay, all right. Good. Yeah, so full name. My given name is, let's go with Andrew, and my family name is Lee. Please just call me Drew for short. Okay. All right. Some people like using a short version of their name. Short version of Andrew is Drew. So again, nice and fluent. Just repeat after me. What is your full name? My given name is Andrew and my family name is Lee. Please just call me Drew for short. Okay, and again, nice and confident, so really voice yourself. Project your voice. Move your mouth as you speak. Don't mumble. Don't cover your face. Don't close your arms. Keep your hands up above the table. Open chest so that you are projecting your voice to the examiner. Body language is important in communication. And then comes the next question. So the examiner might say something like, okay, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Where do you live? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Where do you live? For where do you live, think about your residence, like your house. Plus, think about your locality, like your city, state, country. Okay, so combine those two. It's very important, again, to be fluent. This is your chance to keep your band 9, to hold on to your band 9. So you want to show a high level of fluency. Okay, Ajaya says, I live in a 2-bedroom house, independent, located in the southern province of Bangalore City, which is well-known metropolitan in India. I live in a small village named Kandar district, Muktsar. Okay, that's another AJ. I live in a small village named Gandhar district, Muktsar, situated in Punjab. Okay, AJ, DeLong Gaming. And where do you live? Like in a house, in an apartment, townhouse, condo? Okay, so describe that a little bit. Jaineel says, I reside in a 2-bedroom condo on the 3rd floor of a high-rise building, which is located in the heart of Surat, Gujarat. I have lived with my parents there for 20 years. Very nice, Jaineel. I like it. You've had lots of practice. Make sure you say it with confidence. Arda says, I live in a 3-bedroom high-rise building in Istanbul, Turkey. It's slap bang in the middle of the city. It's nice and cozy with a huge balcony. I've just moved to my new house a year ago. Very nice, Arda. Very, very nice. I like the natural language. I like the use of idiomatic language. That's excellent. Okay. Nupur says, my hometown is Pune, but I have been living in Mumbai for the past 5 years. It's a city along the western coast of India. Okay, Nupur, and then give the actual residence as well. So it doesn't matter if you say the residence first or second or the locality. Just remember to give both. Okay, so I reside in a 3-bedroom, 2-story family home in the suburbs of Victoria, BC, which is a beautiful garden city on the southern tip of Vancouver Island in Western Canada. Okay, sure. So again, nice descriptive language, okay? So really use your descriptive language. Be ready for these questions. Practice these questions. This question is very common for IELTS examiners. The where do you live and do you work or study? Those are extremely common. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. Where do you live? I reside in a 3-bedroom, 2-story family home in the suburbs of Victoria, BC, which is a beautiful garden city on the southern tip of Vancouver Island in Western Canada. Okay, so here I'm making sure that I'm keeping my band 9 perfect score at the very start because I'm giving words like suburbs, southern tip, a nice collocation, to keep that high lexical resource mark. So it's like two kind of parts to a high band score. One is to keep the high band score by not making mistakes. And the other part is to earn the high band score by giving the kind of language the examiner is looking for. Okay, and they're looking for good vocabulary, good grammar, and they're looking for accurate, detailed answers without going off topic. That's what they're really looking for. Okay? And it is kind of conversation style, so they will ask you questions that are relevant, that are related. Okay? The next question is, what do you like about your home? So again, give a nice, clear, full sentence answer for this one. Be yourself. So what do you like about your home? And don't overspeak. So just say 2 points. Okay? 2 points. All right. While we wait for that, Wonder Genie says, I have registered for IDP computer-based exam on September 26th and wanted to know if my speaking test would also be on the same day. Wonder Genie, I'm not sure if you should have seen the speaking interview date during your registration. If they didn't show you that, then they will let you know within the next week, I'm sure. Could be on the same day or it could be on a different day. You don't know that unless you knew at the point of registration. Okay? All right, so let's see. What do you like about your home? Shahan Pereira says, my house is a flat house and I can see nice scenery with lush green area along the river, which is historically very important. Okay, Shahan, make sure to reflect the question in your answer. This is very important, students. Okay, so another big tip here for you as you're thinking about your answer. Okay, it's very important for a high band. All right, so make sure to reflect the main point or the main idea of the question in your answer. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and then I'll take a look at a few more answers. So what do you like about your home? The main idea here is like about your home. Okay, and here you want to include that concept in your response. Okay, so you want to say, I love that my house is. Okay, so here right away I start my response with I love that my house is. So the examiner knows that I'm emphasizing specifically what I'm being asked. Okay, so you don't just want to say, oh, my home is very spacious and bright. Okay, so what you're telling me is that you really like that your home is spacious and bright because, right? So Don't give partial answers, all right? It's very important that you give complete answers. Complete answers include the main ideas of the questions. Keep that in mind, okay? So I love that my house is spacious and it is located close to many amenities, such as a park where I go for my morning run, and a large shopping plaza where I can get all of my groceries and other needs. Okay. So again, you want to give a very nice, full, clear answer that includes the main idea of the question. So repeat after me. What do you like about your home? I love that my house is spacious and it's located close to many amenities, such as a park where I go for my morning run and a large shopping plaza where I can get all of my groceries and other needs. Okay, so that's going to be clear for the examiner, right? That's going to be considered your full sentence answer. Let's see what others have, and hopefully you've included the question, like the Prazal says, well, I have lots of sentiments attached to my home. It's the place where I was born and brought up. Every four corners of my home is part of my memory, and it's really special for this reason. Okay? So again, emphasize the question in your answer, Prazal, right? Charvi Singh says, I love the positive atmosphere of my house where I feel confident and loved. Very good, Charvi. Excellent. Muhammad John says, well, I live in a small house. My house is so picturesque. And of course, most of the furnishings and belongings are modern and comfortable. In addition to the kitchen, the living room has air conditioning. So it's nice and cool on hot summer days. Muhammad John, I again corrected some of that in real time. Okay. Another important tip, everyone, is don't use the word things. So Muhammad John uses the word things. You start to lose marks when you use the word things, okay, or stuff. So another big tip, do not use the word things or stuff, as these replacement nouns have no meaning. Okay, so Muhammad John is a good example of this. Thank you for giving us this example. So instead of the word things, you could use a better noun like furnishings or furniture. Okay, and that would help you to keep and to build lexical resource marks, and of course, coherence and fluency as well, okay? All right. So, a very common topic in part one might be something about food. So at this point in time, the examiner is going to say, okay, let's talk about food. And you'll notice that they're very professional. They should be. The examiner should create a professional atmosphere, not a friendly one, okay? So let's talk about food. Who usually makes food in your home? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Now, remember, students, to get that band 9 or to hold that band 9, what you want to do is you want to always answer, explain, example. Okay? Always strive. Strive means work towards. Okay, giving an answer plus B an explanation plus C, an example. Why? Because this equals coherence and fluency. And that's how you get a band 9. That's the way to keep and earn a band 9. Okay. So who usually makes food in your home? Give me a nice full sentence answer to that question. All right. AJ Dillon says, my mother makes food for our family on a daily basis, and she is a very good cook. She makes delicious and yummy meals to eat. AJ, what did she make for you yesterday? Give me that, okay? All right. Danny Nguyen says, well, my mom does most of the cooking. Just yesterday, she made a really nice dish. Danny, what was that dish? What did you eat? Okay. Give me some details. This is where you can pick up some more marks. Usually, okay. Frequency, often, frequently. Vishal says, generally, my mom makes food for our family, but sometimes my wife also makes some delicious food on some occasions or on festivals. Okay. All right. Lakshmi says, I love to cook food for my family as I have 2 daughters who like to eat delicious biryani. Okay, so yesterday I made biryani and they loved it. All right. Lakshmi, finish it a little bit clearer, but you're on the right track. Okay. Rashika says, I usually prepare meals in my house. However, when I'm not at home, my husband cooks. On the weekend, my husband and I make food as we like. Last weekend, we made an Italian pasta dish. Okay, Rashika, very good. A couple of grammatical mistakes, a couple of word order mistakes. In English, usually when we group ourselves with other people, we put ourselves last. So my friends and I, my friend Bob, his cousin Jane, and myself and I. So we usually put ourselves last. Sometimes we'll say me and my friends as well, but it's more polite to put ourselves at the end of the list, especially when we're in a professional conversation. So keep that in mind, okay? So most often, I'd say 9 out of 10 times, or to be more specific, 10 meals. I'd say most often, I'd say 9 out of 10 meals, my wife is the one who cooks for the family. She is very good at it, and she prepares very delicious dishes that are not only mouth-watering, but also very healthy. Yesterday, she prepared a grilled chicken with Greek salad. All right, so this is a band 9 response. Let me show you why, okay? So the examiner asks, who usually makes food in your home? Right away, most often immediately is answering the question usually, okay? And then here, I would say 9 out of 10 meals, okay? 9 out of 10 meals is quantitative language, meaning numbers. So it's giving further clarity and explanation to this idea of usually, okay? Now, my wife is the one who cooks, okay? There's some complex language with an adjective clause. Here's my explanation. She is very good at it, and she prepares very delicious dishes. Notice the paraphrasing, dishes, meals, okay? So I'm using a broad range of language that are not only mouth-watering. Mouth-watering is idiomatic language. It's not complex idiomatic language, like it's not like a full idiomatic sentence, but it's definitely enough, and it's what the examiners are looking for. So not only mouth-watering, but also healthy. Okay, the not only together with the but also is called a correlative conjunction. It's emphasizing this information. And then to really make sure that I have that band 9, I'm giving an example here. Yesterday, she prepared a grilled chicken. Let's take that out, with Greek salad. Okay. So a lot of clarity, a lot of coherence, great lexical resource, good grammar. You're getting a band 9. Okay. All right. So again, repeat after me. Who usually makes food in your home? Most often, I'd say 9 out of 10 meals, my wife is the one who cooks for the family. She's very good at it, and she prepares very delicious meals that are not only mouth-watering, but also very healthy. Yesterday, she prepared grilled chicken with Greek salad. Yum, yum. Okay. Hope I'm not making too many people hungry with this topic. All right, so that's what your goal is. That's what you want to do with your responses. All right? Okay. Next question, try this one. Where do you eat most often? So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. The examiner will just say, okay, and where do you eat most often? All right? Nice full sentence answer. Where do you eat most often? Okay. Janelle says, as I've just said about my mother, mostly making the food at home, I think 25 days out of the month. So I generally eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the dining room table with my parents. Okay, very good, Janelle. I love the connection that you're making to your previous answer. Well, as I said, my mom makes most of the meals, and I eat those meals at home with my family around the dining room table. Okay, Aliyah Malek says, well, mostly I'm eating in my house because that's very healthy and tasty. But sometimes we are going out for lunch or dinner, and we all should always eat at our house for hygienic food. Okay, Aliyah, I think the examiner might interrupt you halfway through your answer because you're going off topic. Don't answer other questions. Only answer this question. Where do you eat most often? That's very important. Sammy says, I eat most of the times at home because I both get a tasty and healthy food and quality food. Every day, my wife prepares rice and chapatis along with some veggies. This listing also has peanut bread and butter. Okay, Sammy, very good start. The end of it is a little bit awkward. Think about rephrasing that in a clearer way. Okay. Kakimov says, well, I spend most of my time outside. That's why I eat my meal in restaurants, which are close to my office. Okay, Kakimov, I would say it like this. Well, I spend most of my time away from home. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I spend a lot of hours at my office, so I eat a lot of meals in restaurants. Just yesterday, I had lunch and dinner at my favorite restaurant, Bubba Joe's. Okay, so give a little bit more detail. Near Ear Tron says, I eat most of the time at home because I really love the dishes that are prepared by my mom. Sometimes I go out to restaurants with my friends at the weekends. Yeah, so saying sometimes I go out to restaurants is okay, but again, you have to realize that that's going off topic, okay? So, I most frequently eat my meals at home around the dining room table with my wife and children. I would say at least 3 times a day, usually for breakfast, dinner, and supper. However, I regularly have my lunch with my colleagues at my office. Okay. All right. So here we go. Where do you eat most often? I most frequently eat my meals at home around the dining room table with my wife and children. I would say at least 3 times a day, usually for breakfast, dinner, and supper. However, I regularly have my lunch with my colleagues at my office. Okay. So that would be okay because that's also something that I often do. So if you have your lunch often at your workplace, then that's okay to include that. But don't go off topic and don't start saying, well, I sometimes go out to restaurants. Like a few weeks ago, the examiner will interrupt you. Okay, they only are looking for answers that answer the questions they are asking. Sometimes students complain like, oh, why did the examiner cut me off? Probably because you're going off topic. And notice how a question is coming up that asks you about that anyway. So here's the next question. When do you like to go out to eat? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So when do you like to go out to eat? Now, if you answered this for the previous, then you're going to be a bit redundant. So that's why you want to just answer the question. Okay, all right. So, just as I really like to eat out during the summer, as I can invite my friends to a nearby cafe so that we not just have delicious food, but also enjoy the weather and pleasant atmosphere. Last July, we had a great time together with my friends at this cafe at least once a week. Okay, Jasur, very good, nice. I love the original language. All right. Jaya says, I always desire to go out for having food on the weekends along with my family members, but with the pandemic in my locality, this has hindered my family to go out for eating on a regular basis. Okay, good. Jaya, very nice. So I wouldn't talk too much about the pandemic or COVID. It's kind of a beaten topic, but it's okay if you mention it once or twice, especially when it's relevant to the question, as in this case. But don't just mention it to mention it, okay? All right. Danny Nguyen says, I like to have an outside meal in the summer as I can invite my friends to a cafe so that we not just only have delicious food, but also can enjoy the scenery. Okay, good. All right, Danny. And then give an example as I just showed previously with another student, with I think it was Jasur. Kirthana says, I seldom eat out, usually whenever I'm hanging out with my close friends and family. Moreover, I like trying new cuisines, and I often try to find eateries that are newly opened in my vicinity. Okay, that's good, Kirthana. Just make it a little bit more relevant, okay? So I like to go out to a restaurant for special occasions, such as birthdays and anniversaries. As well, I like to try new types of dishes. So when there is a new and popular restaurant, I will visit there with my friends. I just tried a new Italian place a few blocks from my home called Pagliacci's, and it was awesome. Okay. Yeah, so clarity. Okay. Here we go. Repeat after me. When do you like to go out to eat? I like to go out to a restaurant for special occasions such as birthdays and anniversaries as well. I like to try new types of dishes. So when there's a new popular restaurant, I will visit there with my friends. I just tried a new Italian place a few blocks from my home called Pagliacci's, and it was awesome. All right. Let's try one more question here. Do you think it is important to learn to cook? Why or why not? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So in part one, usually the first few questions are quite sensible, like where do you like to go eat? Where do you eat most often? Who usually cooks in your home? And also be ready for one or two questions in part one that are a little bit less common. Like, do you think it's important to learn how to cook? And you should be able to answer this question clearly and accurately as well. Now, if it kind of catches you by surprise, it is absolutely okay to say, that's an interesting question. Please allow me a moment. Okay, so you can say that as long as it's clear for the examiner that you're thinking about the information and not the language. If it looks to the examiner like you're just trying to think of vocabulary or grammar, you'll lose marks. But if you think, if you look like you're thinking about information, like, yeah, maybe it is, then you won't lose marks. Okay. All right, Danny, please only put your answer into the chat once. Otherwise, the chat gets very spammy. Okay. All right. Fahim Redwan says, learning to cook will help people understand world cultures, customs, and flavors. Cooking is less expensive than eating at restaurants, fast food joints, and cafeterias. So, Fahim, then do you think it's important to learn how to cook? You didn't clearly or directly answer the question. Okay, so again, Fahim, make sure to answer the question directly. Yes, I believe it's absolutely crucial to learn cooking growing up because this helps me and other people to open up eyes to the world cuisines. Okay, so answer it directly. You'll get a better mark. All right. Balbir says, in my perspective, it's not imperative to know cooking because nowadays delicious and healthy foods are available 24/7 everywhere, and the shop owners even deliver the items to the home. Okay, it's not a bad answer, Balbir. I would give an example. Over the past year, I have been regularly ordering through a company called DoorDash. It's a simple to use app on my phone. Okay. Okay, Tarusha says, I think it depends. It is better to learn to cook if someone lives alone, but when we live with someone who can cook well, I don't think it's compulsory. Darusha, I definitely think it's better to stay away from the "it depends" response for two reasons. It's not interesting when somebody says "it depends," and oftentimes people don't go into clear explanations. Okay, so here's one more tip for the day. Okay. And it's not always true, but it's often true. Sometimes "it depends" is an okay answer, but in many, many cases, it's not true. So usually, it is not good to respond with "it depends." These types of answers are often uninteresting and they lack clarity and explanation. Okay, so stay away from them. Okay, all right. I would answer this question by saying, yes, I do think it is imperative to learn culinary arts growing up, as this ensures that people can make cost-effective and delicious meals at home. Also, it is a great skill for socializing. I like to have dinner parties at least once a month when circumstances permit. Okay? So here we go. Repeat after me. Do you think it is important to learn to cook? Why or why not? That's an interesting question. Please allow me a moment to think. Yes, I do think it's imperative to learn culinary arts growing up, as this ensures that people can make cost-effective and delicious meals at home. Also, it's a great skill for socializing. I like to have dinner parties at least once a month when circumstances permit. When circumstances permit means when the situation allows. So it means like when I have time, or when there's no COVID, for example, and social distancing. So when the situation allows for that. Okay, so when circumstances permit. All right, here we go. Couple more questions. Has your eating habit changed in the past few years? If yes, how? If you could make one food free for everyone, what would it be and why? So there's a couple of interesting questions. You can practice these questions on your own. Again, remember that we have our websites here. When you join the website, and you can get access to our premium package by clicking that big red button, you have access to lots and lots of tools. One of those tools is the student partner speaking. You can click on that to practice. You can, of course, get access to all of the other tools in our website. And, of course, there's an app as well, so you can link the app and you can access those tools. Also, students, that's all the time I have for today. I'm taking my daughter to kindergarten in the next few minutes. So I hope all of you have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are in this beautiful world. Remember all of these steps and tips that I gave you. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for lots more live lessons and lots of great videos. Eugene, thank you so much for all those fun emojis, Balbir and everyone else. And again, join our premium IELTS package. It's worth investing a few dollars to make your life easier. aehelp.com for academic IELTS, glshelp.com for general IELTS. I will be back tomorrow with some writing and listening for members and for everyone. Much love to all of you. I'm Adrian, signing out from beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Bye for now.